Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at Algorand. Let's get into the chart and see what's going on. Okay, so before we get into the subwaves of these minor counts over here, I want to just go over the daily count of what I'm looking for. So there's two ways that we can look at this move. We can treat this as a corrective move down, or alternatively we could argue this is 1, 2. This all becomes our third wave. We've got a fourth, and then we're looking for this fifth wave to the downside. Now, our typical target box for a fifth wave has already been met between this 1377 and this 1083. We do, however, also have some other targets. The 0.382 of the wave 1 to 3 is also being hit. Now, the way that I'm looking at this is this move looks like it could be incomplete and still needs an additional drop. So I'm going to be keeping an eye out on this 1 to 1 over here, as well as this 0.618 of that wave 1 to 3. These are potential target areas where we could actually see this continue to the downside. So we're going to be talking about these internals in a second. But before we jump into that, the alternative way we could also look at this is that this could be a W, this could be an X, and then we could actually be looking at this as another 3-wave move to the downside. Now, the problem that I'd have is that if we do actually complete into this low here, potentially what we could have here is that this could actually just become an A wave. We see a 3-wave move up, and then we see continuation down. Now, the reason for this is because if we complete where we are here, it wouldn't really make a lot of sense, because in that 5-wave move, we're still looking for an additional leg to the downside. So this would just be 3 waves. And in a Y wave, we don't want W, X, and Y. We want an A, B, C pattern. So because of that fact, this could actually be an A wave. We could actually see it moved back to the upside for a B, and then actually see a C wave develop at a later stage. So we need to just monitor this. If we do start to break out in a bigger way here, we'd have to be careful around this 3187 to this 20 cent 15 area. This could potentially offer us a rejection area, and then potentially we could see price move down at a later date. Now, if we had to move up into this 0.618, which would be sitting here at this 2422, this would potentially mean that at a later point we could drop towards this zone of this 1 to 1 here, which would be this 0479 region. Now, the 1 to 1 of this is a W, an X, and a Y is actually lower down here towards this 0413. So potentially these could then start to align if we do see that. If, however, we get a additional push to the downside here, then this could just be A, B, and then a C wave, and that would suffice as a Y wave to the downside then. And then we could actually look to have just completed slightly higher up here, where we actually look to come back into some of these zones. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this. If we do see price come back into this level, potentially we could see some of these lower areas getting hit towards a 786, 854, and potentially even this 1 to 1 level. Okay, so now let's get into the internals of this. So if we are arguing that this is a corrective move, and we're saying that we could complete this Y wave where it is, what we could actually be looking for is the potential of a break to the upside. Now, if we are looking at this, what we could see is something along these lines, where we actually come back into here on the 4-hourly. What we can see is that we have a 3-wave move up here. And what I'm looking for is the potential that this could become A, this could become a B wave, and we see a C wave to the downside. Now, this B wave could be completed in this move over here, but proportion-wise, it wouldn't surprise me if we see another push to the upside here, looking to target out this 1366 to this 1265 area, where this actually becomes A, we see B, and then we see a C wave to the upside. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this. If, however, we start to break down in a bigger way here, potentially what we could see is price could actually come back down into these lower levels here, where our 1 to 1 for this move to the downside would actually be here towards this 1050. Now, this would actually align with coming back into this golden pocket area here, which would be this 1069 to this 1054 level. So if we do see price break down into these ranges here, potentially we could look for that as a possible turning point. However, if we are looking at this within the channel, this 786 actually has a better confluence with coming back into the center line of this channel again. So if we do see something like this, what I would then be looking out for would be the potential that we have A, B, and then we could still see a C wave to the upside here. Our 1 to 1 would bring us towards a 1611 based off of coming into this golden pocket. If we move down deeper, this will change. And then also our minimum requirement would be this 0.618, though ideally what I would like to see is a break of this high if we're looking at this as an A, B, and a C wave to the upside. So I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that as this develops to see which one is in play here. Now, the alternative for this is that we would be arguing that if we're looking at that correction move completing here, what we could then say is that potentially we would be looking for a breakout. Now, the only way to count this as a impulse, it would be as a diagonal. You'd have to say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up into this high, in which case I'd still be looking for that same idea where this is A, B, and C. Now, if this does move up higher here, potentially what we could actually see is the fact that this could actually be a 1, 2, this becomes a 3 if we get a move up towards this 2205. We'd look for a fourth wave and then have a fifth wave to the upside. Now, this could actually align with actually forming a bigger corrective move here, where this whole structure then would actually just become an A wave, we'd get a B wave, and then that C wave up, and that would align with the fact that this move could be an A wave, we get a B wave up, and then we see that continuation down. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this if we do actually see 5-wave structure develop to the upside here, and we do move up towards this 2205, then potentially we could be setting up for a 5-wave sequence here. Now, invalidation of this as any kind of impulse would actually be this 0901, taking the low would invalidate this potential of anything impulsive to the upside. Though, even though we are looking for an impulse here, it could also still just be ABC, where we see this 1-to-1 come in here towards a 1672 level before that possibility of continuation down. So we need to be careful of that. Now, like I said, the primary way I'm still looking at this is that potentially within this structure, what we are looking for is this is 1, 2, 3 into this low, and then we're looking for this as a fourth wave. So this is why I'm saying, you know, even if we do, whether we want to look at this as a 3-wave move up, or if we want to look at this as that diagonal to the upside, if we see this as A, we get 3 waves down, and then we see another push to the upside, but fail to break above this 1475 region and move back into this channel. Potentially this could align with that idea that this fourth wave is actually still playing out, because if we are looking at time comparisons between this wave and this wave here, as a fourth wave, this can get a lot longer than this wave 2 here. So it really is still within that time proportion. So even if we did this ABC, come down, push back up one more time, it would still be within that range that it would be allowable as a fourth wave. Though invalidation of this would come by any kind of a push up past this 1788. That would invalidate the idea of this fifth wave to the downside. And what we'd be looking for as a potential target for this as a fifth wave would actually be here towards this 0802 to this 0665 region. So if we just come back out here onto the daily, I just want to talk about something here. So this is looking for whether this is a fifth wave or that idea of the 5-wave move, making this A, B, and C to the downside. What we could see here is that this would actually then look to push us down towards this 1-to-1 level. If we're looking at this as a 5-wave move, which would be here towards this 0658 region. This would also align with coming down lower here towards this 1-to-1 of this bigger move here, as this is an A, a B, and a C, looking for this zone of this 0781 region. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this area. Particularly, there are a few zones lower down here that if we do see continuation, particularly in a 5-wave move here, then we could look for this as possibly looking to complete down these zones, but we'd have to wait for the proper reaction. Now, if we are looking at this rather as a corrective structure, what we could also then argue is that by moving down into this fifth wave target, what we would then be moving into is this zone here, which would be this 1382 of this move up here. So this is W, X, and Y. That would move us down towards this 1382 in the center of this box level, which would also align with, you know, coming back down here into the 0.786 of this W wave. So I need to keep an eye on this. Obviously, we can look for extension here. If it does start to extend out, potentially we could look for some deeper targets. Okay, so looking at the daily CPR here, what we can see is that we have actually lost these central lines, but we've come down here and we've retested this R1 and this R2 line already. We're currently underneath this R2 line. If we do look to continue down, potentially what we could see is price could actually be gravitated towards this 1166 and this 1143 as possible target areas. Now, if we are looking at the possibility that we are looking for that breakout idea, this wouldn't really align with the C wave in my opinion, but it could actually align in the fact that this could be an A. We see this as a B wave down here, and then potentially still look to push to the upside. If we do see a reversal from where we are, where this is potentially a completed move here, what we could then see is a reclaim of these central lines, which is sitting between this 1258 and this 1247, and then looking to push to the upside and looking to target out either this 1274, this 1307, this 1327, and this 1361. These would align with some levels within here. You know, the S2 would align with this golden pocket, S4 would align with the 786. So we'll be keeping an eye on those as we see price actually move around here. Now, if we go into the weekly here, what we can see is that we've actually lost these weekly CPR lines here. Now, this is interesting because what this could mean is that if we do see a price movement back to the upside here, we could actually look to reject off of these and look to move down. If, however, we actually do just start to break down here, we'll be keeping an eye on this 1115, which will be that R1 line. We have the R2 line aligning with our 0.786 retracement here, which would be towards the 0991. We also have this R3 line lower down here towards this 0850. So that would be looking at the potential that we actually just break down directly here. If, however, we are looking for this possibility of this as a bigger corrective structure here, potentially what we could see through the week is we could actually move back up here and look to retest this 1379. We have this 1522 and this higher level here of the 1644 as possible targets. So need to keep an eye on that if we do see price move to the upside. I'm going to be watching around these pivot points. Now, as well as that, on the monthly, what we can see here is that these monthly CPR lines are very tightly spread here. So this is indicating volatility. Now, we are currently below them. Our monthly R1 line is actually sitting towards a 0901. Lower targets would actually be this 0579, and then the lowest target would actually be here towards the 0263. Now, we don't have to hit these targets during the month. They are just potential pivot points. Now, if we do look to the upside, however, if we can manage to get back above these central lines here towards this 1220, what we could actually see is price could get gravitated back to the upside here, where we have this S1 actually aligning quite nicely with the top end of this channel, which would be here at this 1534. We have this higher level here of this 1856. And then also up here towards where our 1.618 is, we do also have this 2170 at that S1 line. So going to be keeping an eye on that over the period of this next month, see how we interact with these levels. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to Discord. Come check it out. It is free to join. Everyone have a great day. See you in the next one. Take care.